Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we're going to be talking about the potential of the Rams trading up to 6th. Before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let's dive in. So, my guy, Ben Albright, somebody that I trust anytime he puts anything out there. I mean, he has sources. He's very in tune with the rest of the NFL. I thought that was really interesting. He was asked who are some possible trade-up teams in the draft. And his response on Twitter was, I think everyone obviously assumes the Vikings. Talked last night on the show about hearing about the Rams possibly being a team looking up to move up. There are teams that'll try to play the board too. We all know how he loves to move around. And then another user responded with, you think the Rams want to move up for a quarterback of the future behind Stafford? DT replaced Donald, ? And Benjamin Albright said, I don't think it'd be for a quarterback. So the reason why I said 6th is because he never said anything about 6th. But today, Shane comes out, the GM for the Giants, and says, yeah, we're open. We're open for business. We're open to trade away the 6th pick. And to be honest with you, I can't see why you wouldn't. You have a chance to get a king's ransom. I mean, let's be honest here. There are teams that are trying to trade all the way up. They're way down the board. There's a lot of talent, and teams know if you're not trying to trade for a quarterback right now and you don't need a quarterback, you're in the driver's seat to get a blue chip prospect that can play right away and be in contention to win an Offensive Rookie of the Year award. And that is really the thing here with the Rams. Now, I've heard multiple times, I've said it multiple times this year, I've really believed that the Rams, if there is a trade to be made, the Rams are going to make it and they are going to move up in the draft. Okay, I've said it over and over again. They're not going to pick at 19. I just don't see it. If they do, okay, I'm wrong and I'll admit it, but I do not see it. I keep telling you guys this. So hearing this, obviously, or seeing this from Ben Albright, and then of course, seeing the Giants have all these teams calling them, surprisingly, all these teams calling them about the number 6 pick. It really makes you wonder now, doesn't it? Now, the reason I bring up the Rams, I know a lot of people are tired of these hypothetical what if videos, and that's not what this is. This is not a what if video. What if videos basically take the idea of what if it happened and just goes through it and like what it would actually mean. This is not a what if video. This is a could happen video. This is not, oh man, mystery and magic. And no, guys, this is real, okay? The Rams could really trade up into the top 10 and select a Rome Odunze or Joe Alt or even Malik Neighbors. So let's talk on this because, look, right now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, you go through the draft to this point, that 6th pick is going to be so massive if the Rams can grab that. Here's why I think it's so huge. Caleb Williams goes number 1, right? Jaden Daniels goes 1 or goes 2 or 3, right? Drake May goes 2 or 3. I think Jaden Daniels goes 2nd. I think Drake May goes 3rd. I think they all stay. I think the first 4 picks, there's no trades. I think the Patriots said that they were interested in trading down if need be. They're open to it. The Cardinals, everything that came out today sounds like they're picking Marvin Harrison Jr., no doubt. If they don't trade down, of course. So we'll see. Number 5, the Chargers. The Chargers, I think, are the prime candidate to trade down with the Vikings. Everyone and their mother knows the Vikings want J.J. McCarthy, and I don't think the first 3 teams picking want J.J. McCarthy as much as the Vikings do. So I don't think he is going to necessarily go before their pick, and so I think that they're going to trade up to 5, and they're going to take McCarthy. So where does that leave the Rams? Well, if the Rams traded up to 6th, you have to understand something here. First 5 picks of the draft, 4 of those were quarterbacks, okay? And then you have the best receiver in the class. After that, it is wide open, okay? Wide open. And I mean, it's pretty gnarly when you think about it because, look, I got the mock draft thing pulled up here right now. I'm looking at who would be available if they made this trade in this scenario. And again, JJ McCarthy, like if he doesn't get, they don't trade up to get him, the Vikings don't, the Chargers end up picking, then one of these guys is gone. It's probably Malik Neighbors. But currently, the way the draft board is set up, okay, if the Rams traded up to 6 with the Giants after a McCarthy pick, Malik Neighbors would be there, Rome Odunze would be there, Joe Alt would be there, Brock Bowers would be there. I mean, those are really tip-top guys. I mean, then you talk about Fashanu, who, I know PFF is lower on, and Jared Verse and Dallas Turner, and you wouldn't pick them at 6. No, you would pick, if you're picking at 6, and we are reading the tea leaves, it is going to be an offensive pick, okay? The offense dominates the defense in this draft, in my opinion. There's just a lot more offensive talent. That's just the way it is. Wide receiver class is stacked and loaded. Tackle class is really good. Quarterback class is overrated, but again, like it's better than the linebacker class, for instance. So, well, they're about the same, but no, I'd say it's better. So anyway, my point I'm making here is that there is a chance that the Rams would move up to 6th here, and they would be able to choose between Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Joe Alt, and Brock Bowers. And to be honest with you, Brock Bowers' positional value doesn't make any sense here, okay? I like the player a lot, like the prospect a lot. You draft him in the middle of the first round, okay. There's a reason why I think he's going to fall either 2-10 or outside of the top 10. It's because essentially again, positional value. And if you draft him in the 5th-year option, it doesn't really save you that much money. If you find one of the best wide receivers in the league in this draft, you're not paying him $30 million. You're paying half of that. If you find the best tight end in this draft, you're still paying them. They're going to be in like the top 5 highest paid with that 5th-year option. So it is something worth mentioning here. Now, I think the Rams, because let's just talk about how they would get up here. How do they make this trade with the Giants? That is quite the hike. That is 13 picks. How did they jump 13 picks? Well, I'll tell you. It's actually fairly simple, and I think they can get this done. I think this is real. I think they could really do this and still have a really good draft. They have 2 picks in the 3rd round. They also have a pick in the 1st round in 2025. Since this is too far down the board here to just give away a 2025 first-round pick and be done with it, they would have to give up a 3rd-round pick. Luckily for them, I did the draft math, and it's almost perfectly matched. The Giants pick at 6, the Rams pick at 19, the Rams pick at 83, and a 1st-round pick in 2025. Now, let me explain to you, let me do the math here for you real quick. So let's just say, the Rams right now, where they are, you assign every single pick a number value, right? So right now, just to let you know, according to the Rich Hill trade value chart model on drafttech.com, which I use all the time, it's supposed to be it's the closest to today. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy Johnson with the Cowboys created a model that allowed every pick to be valued, essentially. It gave him like a value chart, and it made it easier to trade. Well, with that said, later on, there was a revised trade value model. Bill Belichick has come out and said that. And Rich Hill of Pat's Pulpit basically created one to match what we've seen based on the last several years of trades. So, with that said, the Rams at 19, their pick is 278 points. Okay? Now, the Giants' pick is 446. So, keep that in mind, right? 446. And you're going to subtract 278 from that. So when you do that, that's 168. So you have to find 168 points or around that. Obviously, we can, eyeball it. But 168 points the Rams would need to make this trade, fair. And rule of thumb here, and it's not perfect, right? But rule of thumb is that first round pick in 2025, any pick that's the next year, say it's a first rounder, you're looking at it as a second rounder. So where the Rams pick at 19, it's identical to where the Pittsburgh Steelers pick in round 2. They have the 19th pick of round 2. They pick 51st overall. That pick is worth 112, right? So you could assume that that would be the value of a 2025 first round pick. So if we're adding that to the pot here, and that's 112, we just need 56 more points to get this thing done. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 56 on the nose. This is just kind of like a guesstimate, right? But it's somewhat accurate. So the Rams pick at 99 is only 36 points, which is going to cost you. You know, if you do that, you'd probably have to give up 2/5 potentially. The pick at 83 is 52 points. So a 4-point difference isn't going to kill you. I think they would do the trade if the Giants are really serious and willing to trade down. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the Rams were able to acquire their pick 6, get a blue chip prospect in this draft when there's only 7 of them, and then still keep your 52nd pick, still have a 3rd round pick. Mind you, that 52nd you could trade down, put yourself in position where you have another 3rd rounder and potentially a 4th round pick. You have 2 5ths, you have 3 6ths, and a 7th. The entire point of this, and I understand you're giving up a 1st round pick in 2025. If you think that they're going to be as good as I do, then you don't really care. They're going to be picking at the bottom of the 1st anyway. The entire point of this is by doing this, you still can have a pretty big draft class with really talented players. And you frontline that with a top-notch player. So, again, 1st round, 19th overall, 2025 1st round pick, and a 3rd round pick, 83rd overall. That, I think, gets it done. I do. I really believe that. And, you know, maybe they throw in a 5th. I know Snead likes pick swaps and stuff. We'll probably see something like that if they do it. But I think this is real, folks. I think this is very real. The Rams are going to make a splash. I have a feeling, okay? I don't think that people are realizing this team has not picked in the 1st round since 2016 with Jared Goff. They had a pick in 2019. We've talked about that. We talked about it in the Chop video. They had that pick, 31st overall, and they traded down with the Falcons. Falcons took Caleb McGarry, and the Rams traded all the way down. I mean, they traded down to like 62nd. I mean, it was way down there. I don't remember exactly where, but they traded way down from 31st, and they got Taylor Rapp, who they said that they would have drafted in the 1st round if they stood there. So that's how I see it. I think they're going to come out with a bang, and don't be surprised if the Rams don't trade up with the Giants. Don't be surprised if they trade up with the Titans or the Falcons or the Bears or the Jets. I think they really ideally want to get in that 1st round, top 10 of the 1st round. I think they want one of those guys. Now, who would they pick at pick 6? Because I got to tell you, I don't think that's an easy call. Okay. I have no idea what their thoughts are on Malik Neighbors. I do know they met with Rome Odunze at the Combine. Really underreported story, but they did meet with him. And I also know, as I've said before, and if you're not paying attention, Tony Pastors, right? He is the cap guy. He is the guy that makes sure all the books are okay and everything like that. His brother coached Joe Alt in high school. So I'm not saying that's everything, but that connection there's something about that I just have not been able to let go away. So if I'm being honest with you, based on positional value, trading a 1st round pick, trading a 3rd round pick, moving up 13 spots to go up to 6th overall, I think they take Joe Alt. I think they would take Joe Alt, and I think the reason behind that is they see him, first off, the comfortability, the guy who's in charge of all the books in Tony Pastors. His brother coached him. He knows who he is. I'm sure they have contact, all of that, or they've had contact. The second thing is, this guy was a wall at a high level. He was playing at a high-level program, Notre Dame, playing against high-level competition, and he was a brick wall. Another thing, where are the penalties? Very disciplined player. The athleticism to pull and be dominant in the run game and dominant in pass protection. And when you talk about a guy like that, that sounds to me like somebody that can take over as the left tackle of the future immediately. And I wouldn't be surprised at that point if they turned around and traded away Alec Jackson. Wouldn't be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised they kept him, because Noteboom can play guard, so he could be a backup guard. Following that, the other thing I want to put out is that with Joe Alt doesn't just affect today, he affects tomorrow as well. He's not just the franchise protector for Matthew Stafford. He'd be the franchise protector for the next quarterback that you draft. To me, that is a huge deal. And it's one that I'm really interested in. So when I look at Joe Alt and I see that this is somebody that was just dominant in college and he just turned 21 years old, other drafts, let's just say this, a bad CBA, like back in the day, collective bargaining agreement, where Sam Bradford was the highest paid rookie, a bad CBA, and he's probably going number 1 overall. I mean, even other drafts, he's probably going number 1 overall. Like, he is, and I mean that. Like, I know I graded Fuaga higher than him. Since then, I have kind of changed my mind. I mean, I love Fuaga. Don't get me wrong. Alt is so good. He is so good. I can totally see it. So I'm very, very curious to see where they go. I think it's going to be one for the books, folks. I think it's going to be a really fun draft. 6'8", 322. Can you imagine? And to me, if you add Joe Alt in the first round and you make him your franchise left tackle of the future and in here and now, you want to tell me Joe Alt, Jonah Jackson, Steve Avila, Kevin Dotson, Rob Havenstein, that's not the best, on paper anyway, that's not the best offensive line in football? That might make the Rams the best offense in football. So it wouldn't be easy because, Rome Odunze and Malik Neighbors, those guys aren't easy to pass up on, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised. Also, don't be surprised if the Rams, move and say they don't do this move, they move up a little bit or they move back into the first round from their pick 52. Would not shock me in the slightest. So those are my thoughts. I think you should definitely keep an eye on this one. I think there's something real here, and whether or not it gets done, as we know, there are a lot of things that have been, rumored to happen. I remember, never forget when Jeff Fisher said they were trying to trade up and get Zach Martin in the same draft. I believe they drafted Aaron Donald. So yeah, never rule out anything when it comes to that. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and follow me at JK Bogan, and I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.